Hello, my name is Steve Down, and for most of my life, I've been an entrepreneur. I built many companies, created wealth, and learned how powerful business can be. But I've also learned something important. Profit alone isn't enough. I believe that while we earn a profit, you and I can solve most of the world's biggest challenges. In fact, we've got it entirely wrong. Solutions to the world's problems are not the role nor responsibility of government. It's our responsibility and our privilege. That's why I founded Causeism, an economic philosophy where every business transaction can support a meaningful cause. I believe that Causeism, the new ism, is the way to solve the world's biggest challenges. I trademarked the word Causeism so that I could control the definition. Causeism is when a for-profit business chooses as its partner a nonprofit organization, not as a gimmick, but as a true sustainable partner where a percentage of gross sales, not net sales, but a percentage of gross sales are given to a nonprofit partner in every transaction, ideally beginning with the very first product or service sold. In a nutshell, Causeism provides 7 profound benefits. 1, meaning and purpose merge together with profit, which makes business far more fun. I'm talking about far more fun. 2, every transaction of goods and services solve real-world problems. 3, doing good is built into the ecosystem of the business. In other words, you're not waiting to the end of the year to decide whether or not you're going to give. 4, it attracts like-minded customers while building greater customer loyalty. 5, it attracts like-minded employees while building greater employee loyalty and retention. You're building the greatest culture that you can imagine. You have to experience it to believe it. 6, it's a sustainable way for worthy nonprofit organizations to receive the support they need, and you know that they need our support. 7, transparency replaces blind trust in the marketplace. Causeism is the symbol of a kinder, gentler, more compassionate way of doing business that my children, grandchildren, and this generation of youth have embraced. Because Causeism is where profit and giving merge together by embedding a social give back into every business transaction. And when profit and purpose rise together, business becomes a sign of hope for the rising generation. Causeism is the way to solve the world's biggest challenges. My core value and philosophy are inspired by a simple truth. We are all members of the same human family, brothers and sisters of equal worth, and we should treat each other accordingly. My vision and hope is that Causeism will inspire and bless all families of the earth.
Today, we asked Steve a couple of follow-up questions. The first was, why now? There is a lot going on in the world. Why should people care about Causeism?
There's never been a time in my lifetime where society, particularly in America, is so divided. I believe that there needs to be new philosophy and new leadership, particularly in the economy, which has the greatest impact for social change. Can't increase taxes. We've already paid too much in taxes. We can't work harder. People who have jobs, they work hard. But philosophically, if we continue to do the same thing over and over again, we'll get the same results. We've all heard that statement. And it's time for change. Why do we need change? It's because I've never seen so much despair around the world. During these modern times where technology and knowledge and resources have come together, it seems like there's a lack of wisdom. This is a time for change because many people are in despair, and what replaces despair when things are right is hope. And I believe that Causeism is a message of hope that the world is waiting for. I can't wait to share with the world a new philosophy called Causeism, where there's a give back in every transaction in business, where the rising generation can believe in business, truly believe in business, and a philosophy that will hopefully uproot the philosophies that I believe to be fallacies based on my long career. Fallacies that are unsustainable and they simply don't work. And we can see it by the fruit it bears. When we see greater division, less hope, more despair, we know that we're on a wrong path. It's time for us to change. And we've got to change in ways that are not radical or necessarily revolutionary, but are new and fresh and inspire hope and wisdom.
You believe that many of the world's problems can be fixed when for-profit businesses partner with nonprofit organizations. How does this partnership affect nonprofit organizations?
I've had the privilege and opportunity of supporting nearly 100 nonprofit organizations. What I've discovered is a common thread among these organizations is that the founders and those who work within these organizations are very passionate about what they do. Unfortunately, more than 80% of these nonprofit organizations fail in the first 3 to 5 years. Why do they fail? Well, it's not because of their lack of passion. It's because they don't have the funding necessary to execute on their nonprofit vision. What if we had a solution called Causeism, where every for-profit business selected as a sustainable partner a nonprofit organization, where the founder of the nonprofit organization doesn't have to spend all their time and resources seeking resources. They spend most of their time and their money seeking resources, and most people who are passionate about what they do, they're not professional fundraisers. And that should be left to the private sector. Causeism is the answer for every nonprofit organization. It's the solution that is sustainable that they didn't even know existed.
You have said that a nonprofit organization has market value in a cause economy. Can you explain how a for-profit business can benefit from becoming a cause company?
Nonprofit organizations can bring tremendous value to a for-profit business. It's based on a very simple principle. It's been taught for 2,000 years, found in the most widely published book in the world, but it's a common among all religious organizations. It's a principle that's been well stated as give and you shall receive. That's a principle of not scarcity, but a principle of abundance. Scarcity is based on a principle of taking that which doesn't belong to you, or perhaps begging. But in this case, it's a partnership between business and a nonprofit organization where the nonprofit organization gives the business an opportunity to observe a principle that has no logic behind it. It's spiritual in nature. It can't be explained, but it can be lived. And when you have faith in that principle, you can see even not just rewards, but even miracles in one's life. And that includes a for-profit business. Given you shall receive, based on a philosophy of abundance. It's a universal principle. It's not taught in universities. universities and the economics department, they teach the scarcity of resources. It's scarcity that's been built into our universities and wired into the psyche of our students and into our society. It's an incorrect principle. It's perhaps economics needs to change the teaching of economics, because abundance economics creates abundance. Scarcity economics creates scarcity. And once people understand this principle of abundance, as it relates to, in particular, Causeism, the world will rapidly change because people will be doing the right thing for the right reasons. Why? Because they want to. Because business is about making money. And a pure capitalist will embrace Causeism because he or she will make more money. That makes sense to the entrepreneur and to the businessman, even those who are scarcity thinking. By living correct principles, everyone benefits, the nonprofit and the business. The business benefits more than the nonprofit. And you won't know that until you experience it. With my cause companies, as the founder of Causeism, and as one who leads this movement of Causeism, I know from experience that this is a principle that attracts wealth and attracts more money and attracts more jobs for the profit and the nonprofit organization. And high employment creates abundance, and high unemployment creates scarcity. So it's all about living in an abundant world. In this world, there's enough and to spare. And once we understand that, I think it will impact society in ways where we will have fewer wars. There will be less hate. There will be more love in our marketplace, a kinder, gentler, more compassionate marketplace that I know my children and grandchildren embrace and love. And anyone who experiences it will know that it's a true principle. All you have to do is give it a try and practice it, because always faith precedes the miracle. Most of us have seen the bumper sticker or the t-shirt that says, I owe, so off to work I go. And people, they get a job and they work, they're 8 to 5, they commute back and forth to work, and there's very little meaning and purpose. Anything from the cubicle to perhaps serving a table to the person delivering the package, and sometimes even the CEO. There's no real purpose other than earning a paycheck. In my mind, that's drudgery. And it's certainly not fun. And so Causeism brings purpose and fun into the workplace. It creates a culture where people have purpose, a purpose of making a difference in the world. We had a company called Even Stevens Sandwiches. For every sandwich we served, we gave a sandwich to the communities hungry. I felt kind of bad because when we would recruit restaurant managers and assistant managers and servers and cooks and so forth, other restaurants couldn't compete with that. We created a culture where people felt like they were saving the world, and we could afford to pay them more money because we were more profitable by practicing Causeism. So how does any business compete with that? And we were able to create a corporate culture that didn't feel like a corporation. This was eat to give. This is serve to give. This is work to give. This is a whole different idea of work in the workplace. It's not work, it's fun. And so, does work have to be fun? Why can't, as Mark Twain once said, why can't our vocation become our vacation? I love my work because I'm a person who owns cause companies, and I practice Causeism in the marketplace.
Learn more at Causeism.com.